This week's video will be about a bunch of things. I felt like I didn't have enough information on any one topic to make a full video about it, so today we'll be talking about 5 things. I'll be covering some unique fountain pen words, the Japanese pen magazine called Shumi no Bungu Bako. I'll introduce you to some of the English-speaking fountain pen users here in Tokyo. Then I'll cover some news about the Japanese pen scene and then do a Curidas update. First, a couple of words that a few of us thought was kind of funny. Jacob of Fudafan said he went through a period where he was buying a bunch of cheap pens that he didn't really want, and it was kind of like he was pen snacking, not having a full meal. So this video is a bunch of snacking, not a full meal. The next word is chromo shading. There are a lot of inks coming out now that are thin and light colored and shade really well. And then we've got a new bunch where they're shading different colors, so we decided to call it chromo shading. And a lot of us know exactly what happens when we say, I got that pen bokumondoed. It's a verb meaning that you gave your pen to Hiroko from Bokumondo and she did her urushi magic on it. Pen snacking, chromo shading, and bokumondoed. What kind of pen slang have you come up with? I'd be curious to know. This is Shumi no Bungu Bako. Shumi means interest or hobby. Bungu is stationery, and Bako or Hako means box. So it can be loosely translated as a pencil case, drawer, or box of interesting stationery. This magazine has pen porn of the highest caliber. Here is an advertisement for a Sailor Special Edition pen. I think it's got a snowflake on the nib. Here is a breakdown of the new Sailor specialty nibs. This page is about the Naginata Togi. And the next 2 pages about their other nibs like their Concord and stuff. This section is a rundown of soft nibs. Here's a Platinum Soft Fine, Pilot's Falcon, and their FA nib, and Pineider and Mont Blanc. Here is a short primer on calligraphy in English. This is a chart for nib sizes for Pelican, Pilot, Sailor, and Platinum. As you can see, there's no UEF sizes for Pelican, Pilot, or Sailor. And this is the writing sample for the corresponding nib sizes. This is a rundown of the new inks that have come out. You can see Mont Blanc's blue section, and then they have a section on Venta inks, which are proving to be very popular here in Japan, and then also the new TWSBI inks. Here is a listing of the major fountain pen manufacturers. It's got what country they're from and how to contact them. For instance, with Retro 1951, it's from the USA, and you can get it on the website Preco Corp, Company JP. And here's a listing of fountain pen stationery stores. In another issue, there's an article about fountain pen storage. And in this issue, it's Mannen Hitsu Ink ga daisuki, which means I love fountain pen ink. It's got a huge pull-out chart of all the major ink manufacturers' inks and the swatch of each color. By looking at this, you can tell that Sailor and Diamine both have the most different colors of ink. Then there's another pull-out chart that has all the different colors from all the different limited inks and specialty inks from the stationery stores all throughout Japan. And then they have an article on how they measured the viscosity of a bunch of different inks. They showed the values in MPa's or millipascal seconds, and then had a whole chart of all these different kinds of inks and their viscosity levels. Kohinata-san is a major editorial contributor to this magazine. She asked several of us English speakers to do an interview for them. So this is a good segue into introducing some of the English-speaking pen users here in Tokyo. Kohinata-san asked each of us a little bit about the pens we use and the notebooks we use. I'll leave her information and everybody else's down in this description box. On the right side page is Dan Zoot. He speaks Japanese fluently and has traveled to many of the rural specialty stationery stores to get their special edition inks. He wanted to make sure I told you that his absolute favorite pen is Karas Customs Delrin Decograph. On the left page is Keiko. She collects demonstrators and lives by the rule, no stub, no life. She keeps us up to date on what's going on at Bungu Bako. At the top of this page is Yasuko. She's po-punk on Instagram. She's kind of the queen of ink. I'm always going to one of our club meetings and saying, hey, I got a sample for you, and then she's always like, I already have that ink. On the bottom of that page is the infamous Bruno Todt of Chronicus Stylographicus. If you want to know anything about any Japanese pen, he's the man you need to ask. He's been blogging about fountain pens since 2010. On the upper left is Inky Rocks. I showed them my notes from my study of mineralogy, and I needed to study photography and videography before I started this YouTube channel, so I showed them my notes on that. On the lower left is Jacob of Fudafan, and of course they show a Fuda nib for him. He also speaks Japanese fluently. Next is CY of Tokyo Station Pens. He's the one that takes a perfectly functioning pen, kills it, cuts it up, sews it back again, and then adds a jolt of electricity and starts screaming, "It's alive!" He's that guy. And Carol, who's both from Tokyo and Hong Kong, occasionally attends our meetings. I did a big 2-page spread on her because she has like a gajillion pens. She has so many Mont Blancs that Mont Blanc sent her a specialty case, but it only holds like 64 of her 400 Mont Blanc pens. Miraikat and TMS 1842 also attend our meetings. And now for the news. I always keep a close eye on Fudafan's schedule of events here in Japan, and he pointed out a couple of changes. Tono and Limbs has decided on another spring event where they will be featuring their inks at Okamotoya again. And they've also decided on having another Inkunuma. That's Ink Swamp, and that'll be on September 11th. I did a video on it, and it is a crazy, huge, big ink show. The Platinum Curidas is delaying their stateside general release until the middle of March. There's a lot of rumors out there why this is so, but I'm not going to speculate. Michael, who is MKE on Fountain Pen Network, got an email from the organizers of the Tokyo International Pen Show. They were also organizing a premium pen show to happen May 1st through 3rd. This pen show would cost $30 a day to get in and only feature really high-end pens. The email said that they were canceling this premium show due to concerns about the coronavirus. And now for an update on the Platinum Curidas. If you saw my original review, the Platinum Curidas inked up with this ink, Kala's Salute to Neon ink called Dude, which is a pigment ink. The Curidas had a hard start, and then I let it set over the weekend, and it wrote just fine. There was no hard starts, and it was nice and juicy. However, the Decimo completely froze up and couldn't write at all. And so I let them set for 2 more days and tried to write with them again on Tuesday. The Decimo continued to be completely stopped up and couldn't write. But the Platinum Curidas again wrote just fine right out of the chalks. This is an extreme test. I really like this ink, but it is a pigmented ink, and even using an eyedropper to make these drip videos, it stained the eyedropper and I had to use a Q-tip to clean it out. So I let them sit again for 3 days till right before I posted this video. The Decimo stayed stopped up even though there was ink in the converter. And the Curidas had a small skip on the P of platinum, but other than that it wrote fine. Here I am scribbling really fast to see if I could dry it out, but I couldn't. Since the Curidas won't have a general release until mid-March overseas, I've decided to run this experiment a little bit longer. So now that I know what it does with a pigmented ink, I'm going to use my go-to ink, which is Tsukio, and that works in almost all pens. I'll put Tsukio in both my Decimo and my Curidas. Since this is a clean pen, I don't need to take the collar off. I can just go ahead and ink it up. And as what would be expected, both the Decimo and the Curidas wrote just fine. I'm going to leave them both unused for 2 days and then use them and then leave them unused for 4 days. The Curidas is looking more like it really can keep your ink moist for a lot longer. Even with the clip bothering me on the Decimo, I've been enjoying both the Decimo and Curidas this past week. I'll update you guys again next week. Thanks for pen snacking with me. And by the way, this ink is called Unicorn Blood.